Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'll be talking about the Rams 2025 draft. Was it good? Was it bad? What did they do? This on another episode of the Rams' first draft pick of the night was Terrence Ferguson, tight end out of Oregon in the second round. And I actually kind of like this because Colby Parkinson did not live up to expectations last year with the Rams, and Tyler Higbee is on the older side, so the Rams need a good young tight end. And if Ferguson is even as half as good with the Rams as he was at Oregon, he will fill that role nicely. Then in round 3, the Rams picked Josiah Stewart, outside linebacker from Michigan. And this pick, well, it doesn't really make all that much sense to me. The Rams have plenty of good outside linebackers and guys who can rush the quarterback. So I'm not entirely sure why taking one here in round 3 was such a need. Jared Verse, Byron Young, they have that position pretty well locked down. So taking one here when there were other positions of need that we'll get to later kind of doesn't make the most sense to me. But I think he's a good pick. I just don't know why the Rams took him over another position that they had greater need at. In the 4th round, the Rams took Jaquiz Hunter, running back from Auburn. And with this pick, I think the Rams may have missed. Now, not in the sense that it's a bad pick. Once again, I agree with the Rams' assessment that Hunter is a good player to draft here. I'm questioning the need at the position because the Rams have Blake Corum and Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams has been one of the most effective running backs in the past few years, so taking another running back this high up in the draft when there's, again, positions of greater need just doesn't feel exactly right. But maybe the Rams stumbled upon a star. I don't criticize the player or his abilities. They are very good. He's very good. But I question why him here when there are other positions where the Rams have greater needs. Moving into the 5th round, the Rams had 2 draft picks. The first was defensive tackle Ty Hamilton of Ohio State. And he will be a good piece for the Rams defense if he can develop into maybe a starting role. But for now, he's good depth being a backup. Defensive tackle, the Rams do need to get younger at. They have a few pieces, but they did add a young player in Ty Hamilton to fill in that backup role and maybe eventually develop into a starter if he's good enough to do so. The other player the Rams selected in the 5th round is linebacker Chris Paul Jr. out of Ole Miss. Now, Chris Paul Jr., he looks like a good linebacker prospect. He's not, I don't think, day one ready, but hope is he can develop into a starting interior linebacker for the Rams. Now, one thing I have to say about this is, why didn't the Rams take an interior linebacker sooner? It's been a major position of need since the Rams traded away Ernest Jones, and I feel like the Rams should have took one sooner. I think this pick here is a good value pick. Chris Paul Jr. in the 5th round is probably a very value pick because his skill, at least from what I've seen, I thought he would have been gone already by this time the Rams took him. So it's a good pick again, but I kind of wonder why the Rams waited so long to address such a dire need. And with their last pick in the NFL draft this year, the Rams selected in round 7 Konata Mumfield, wide receiver from Pittsburgh. And this is just a nice depth piece for the receiving corps. I don't think he'll see any real playing time in any major games in 2025, obviously being a 7th round pick, but it's a nice depth piece to add some depth to the position. The Rams were a little light in the depth chart at the wide receiver position, so adding Mumfield here is definitely a good pickup. So what do I think of the draft? Well, the Rams added nice pieces at a bunch of different positions, but the one thing I just can't get over is the ignoring of certain positions of dire need that the Rams have had. The Rams secondary is very flimsy. They have good safeties right now, and they have some average cornerbacks. And honestly, the Rams not addressing the cornerback position in this draft feels like a fatal flaw. The cornerbacks they have are all decent, but none of them I would characterize as being elite level. So looking for one in this draft was a pretty big need, but they didn't do it. So unless like a Jalen Ramsey trade happens soon, where the Rams acquire Jalen Ramsey, I kind of think that was a big failure this offseason in finding a new cornerback. And not addressing middle linebacker sooner kind of feels a little bit wrong, because the Rams need a good middle linebacker, and not taking one sooner kind of makes me think that they aren't taking that position seriously again, which last year not having a good, strong middle linebacker surely didn't doom them when they were trying to stop a run game. So overall, I like this draft. I just don't think it addressed some of the positions that the Rams have the biggest needs at. And I have to assume that a trade for a quarterback is coming, because if it isn't, that secondary is going to be pitiful in 2025. With that being said, guys, please like, share, and subscribe down below, and comment what you think, and I'll see you next time.